Hey, what's going down, everybody? This is your boy Jay Mason inside the Time Machine on WUAG-FM, playing the best in new and old school hip hop, R&B, and everything else in between. With me on the phone right now, I have Bow-Legged Lou, member of the 80s and 90s R&B group production team Full Force. Bow-Legged Lou, welcome to the Time Machine, my brother.
Wait, Jay Mason, you got it wrong. You said member of the 80s and 90s R&B production writing team. No, not 80s, 90s, 80s, 90s. And 2000s, man.
Thank you for correcting me, Bow-Legged Lou. You was about to kick my fucking ass.
I'm gonna kick your freaking ass.
And we don't want to do that,
man.
people.
We're still doing our thing. We just finished working in the studio with Akon. He's got a brand new female group by the name of Brick and Lace.
Okay.
And and you know it's really dope because we love the old school. We're getting ready to really throw down something. We got to come out there in Greensboro, North Carolina, and do some stuff for you guys too, because we're going to be doing a dope old school joint that we're going to be hosting, actually in Macon, Georgia.
Okay.
And Full Force is hosting it, and you got Houdini, Furious 5, Sugar Hill Gang, Big Daddy Kane, MC Light, Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick. It's going to be crazy.
I bet it is, but I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule and doing this interview with me, my man.
All right, man. No problem, man.
All right, now let's go ahead and take it back to the beginning. How did Full Force come about?
Well, the whole thing was this. The Full Force started out with three brothers, myself, Paul Anthony, and B Fine. Those are my two blood brothers. We were the three guys beating up Kid and Play in House Party. That's us, but we're real brothers. And then you got my cousins, Baby Jerry, Shy Shy, and Kurt TT. Those are our cousins. Full Force is 6 members, and we started out actually by performing at the Apollo Theater way back when. You know, not Showtime at the Apollo when it was on TV, when it wasn't on TV, you know. And that was like in the early 80s. So from there, we went on and started our first work actually was co-writing with Curtis Blow back in the day. We co-wrote Curtis's big smash hit. I don't know if y'all remember it. Well, of course y'all do. Called Basketball. Remember that?
Of course.
Right. We co-wrote that, played on it, everything like that with Curtis Blow. We went on the road with Kurt. And then after that, you know, we said, you know what, let's try to do something on our own. So we got some guys in our neighborhood. Tango Kid, Dr. Ice, educated rapper, Mix Master Ice. They went by the name of UTFO. And we produced and co-wrote Roxanne. And when I say co-wrote, we didn't write any of the raps. We did all the raps. We did the music. And my brother B-Fine actually created the hook. Roxanne. He did that. In fact, it was his idea to even do Roxanne. After that, he said, okay, we got to do some more stuff. We wrote this song. My brother B-Fine spearheaded this song called I Wonder If I Take You Home. He started auditioning girls to sing that song. And this young Hispanic girl, Latino, with beautiful, pretty, nice and busty, something that we haven't seen in hip-hop before, Latino doing the damn thing. And she went by the name of Lisa. And she won the audition, and we recorded I Wonder If I Take You Home with her. And that is the rest of history.
Right.
That's the stretch. After that, then Full Force got his own record deal with Columbia Records, and we came out with Alice, I Want You Just For Me, and then we went on to do Unselfish Lover, and Unfaithful, and Temporary Love Thing, and Ain't My Type of Hype, which is taken from the movie House Party. And then after that, we just started producing a lot of people, like Samantha Fox, James Brown. I got to send you our greatest hits, On that is James Brown's joint called Static. He wrote and produced that. That was James Brown's last top 5 record in his career, and we're just so happy that we were able to work on it. But we worked with Houdini. We produced this stuff with Fat Joe. Who else? Foursome D's, Samantha Fox, Rihanna, Black Eyed Peas. And then all of a sudden, what happened is that in this business of ups and downs, the phone stopped ringing. So we said, listen, guys, the phone stopped ringing with the black folks. We got to work with some white people too. I mean, shoot, we do more than just one type of music. And that's when we produced and wrote for white groups such as the Backstreet Boys, Justin Timberlake, and NSYNC, and Britney Spears.
Right.
And Full Force was like the black magic, the first black magic part of all of that stuff, and all of the albums that we worked on sold like over 10 million in the United States alone.
Mm-hmm.
So
right,
we're blessed to be fortunate of that. We just been grinding still, and like the Rihanna record, we produced her like on her debut album, which went platinum. So still doing the damn thing.
Right. Now, let's back up. You guys worked with James Brown, Static, and I'm Real. Now, what was it like working with the Godfather of Soul? Because I believe, he was you had to come correct with Mr. Brown, as you would prefer to call him as Mr. Brown. He didn't like to be called by his first name, I believe.
Right. We have to call him Mr. Brown because that's what we have to do. And we always call him Mr. Brown. And working with him was great. And, a lot of crazy moments sometimes, only because that was in the moment when he was, in his crazy zone with the shooting of the cars, and, it was crazy. But, working with Mr. Brown was just a great thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We respect him, love him, and, we thought we created history together when we did those songs. That was his last 2 top 10 records, Real and Static.
Mm-hmm.
And working with him in the studio was great. Even one time we was taking pictures for the photographers, and then when everybody stopped taking pictures, Brown just went into a full-length split. He split right there, right in front of everybody. The photographers didn't get it because he thought that was it. Taking pictures. They said, "Mr. Brown, do that again, do that again, do that again." He goes, "Nope, you should have got the picture when I did it."
Right.
He walked off.
Right. So it's definitely one of those great moments working with an icon like that. And now, back to Unfaithful. I remember that there was a video for Unfaithful. It was shot at the BET Studios where they shot Video Soul back in the mid-'80s.
Right.
And you guys had the Jerry Curl juice dripping and all that good stuff. And pretty much the same beat for Unfaithful was very similar to like Lisa stuff, like What If I Take You Home, Can You Feel the Beat? It had that kind of electro freestyle kind of sound.
Well, that was great. Unfaithful. And man, how old are you, Joe? How old are you, Jay?
22.
22. You remember everything. How old were you when that Unfaithful came on BET?
Unfaithful came out in what, 85?
How old were you then? Like 1?
I was probably just born. I was born December 85.
So you just looked up your history.
Yeah, I love this stuff. 'Cause I remember back in the day, my aunt who lives in South Carolina has old Video Soul tapes, and she recorded old Video Soul tapes, and on there was All in My Mind.
Right.
And that's how, I came up on you guys. Then, of course, the House Party movies. Now, tell me about what was it like working on the first 2 House Party movies, and did you guys expect for the first 2 House Party movies to become urban classics?
Well, before I get into House Party, let me just brush up on the Unfaithful thing, just to let people know. It's always good to recognize that video that we did for Unfaithful on BET. Sometimes the record companies never paid for all the videos. They might do a video for your first single, your second single, and even if they bring out your third single, they might not want to do a video for your third single. They might go, no, we did enough. So Jamie Foster Brown, who at the time was a producer on BET. Jamie Foster Brown, a lot of fellas that don't know who that is, but I know a lot of women know her. She is the editor, publisher of the magazine Sister to Sister magazine. It's Jamie Brown's magazine. And at the time when we was doing Unfaithful, that song, Jamie Brown was working at BET. And she knew the record company wasn't going to do a video for it, so she did what she called BET's homemade videos. Because she didn't only do it for Full Force. She did it for a lot of acts, like New Edition, when record companies wouldn't do the videos for their third or fourth single. And we always appreciate Jamie Foster Brown, and we're still good friends to this day. I can never forget her. So let's come back into the movies. As far as the movie situation, the first movie that we were in, and I say we because, me and my brothers is All for One and One for All. I wasn't in Crush Groove. Crush Groove was the first one, but my 2 brothers was in Crush Groove, Paul Anthony and B-Fine. And, they're bigger than me anyway. So, my brother Paul had the headband at the time, and we still was rocking a Jerry Curl juice like everybody else. Sometimes people act like Full Force was the only one wearing Jerry Curls. But everybody was wearing it. But we stood out because, we were flexing and everything like that, and bodybuilding. But Crush Groove was a great experience. My brothers was in that. They were only in 2 scenes, but their 2 scenes stood out in that whole movie, with Blair Underwood. And we're good friends with Blair Underwood to this day.